all the plants are based on real-life counterparts. Could we find all the plants featured in the sets, but in just one real-life botanical garden?
I'm here with Tiffany, and she's given us the behind-the-scenes look here at
Missouri Botanical Garden. I was recently gifted this Lego tiny plant set because of my childhood obsession with Legos and my current obsession with tropical plants. What could go wrong with combining two excessive interests? Well, a lot apparently, because then I went out and got these two botanical garden sets. I had a lot of time to think about the plants, as you can imagine. All the plants are based on real-life counterparts. This got me thinking, could we find all the plants featured in the sets, but in just one real-life botanical garden? I figured pretty quickly we'd have to travel for this video because Florida's not gonna have many temperate plants. We researched for days to find the best possible option with the highest likelihood of success, and we found the perfect place right here at Missouri Botanical Garden.
Welcome to the Missouri Botanical Garden. Founded 166 years ago, it is the oldest continuously operating botanical garden in North America.
We're not walking into this blindly. We use the Living Collections Management System on the Missouri Botanical Garden, or MOBOT, website to research in advance. It's obvious what some of the plants are, like this is a Venus flytrap, but others aren't as obvious. So I can look in the instruction book. These are plum blossoms. But that doesn't get me very far with the biggest set because very few of the plants are actually labeled. And heaven help me if I'm gonna ID what this is. So I'm referring to a post on the Rambling Brick blog. The author took photos and labeled all the plants for us. I'll link to the post in the description, and in the absence of official word from Lego, I'm gonna go with what they wrote. So all in all, we're looking at 44 distinct plant varieties. I plug those varieties into the Living Collections search and I find the most likely location for each variety. Some of them are listed as being in areas close to the public, but I have an ace in the hole that you're gonna find out about later. So the search is on. Our first stop is gonna be at the Climatron, because that's where we're gonna find the most Wellspring Gardens plants. Missouri's a lot colder than Florida, so most of the plants that we sell are not gonna be outdoors. They're gonna be right inside there. The Climatron is the first geodesic dome greenhouse in the world, serving as a tropical conservatory with no interior support. Opened in 1960, it houses around 3,000 species of tropical plants from around the world, including endangered species in an environment with 85% humidity and temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. The first plant we're looking for in here is the pink anthurium. Its color should help it stick out. And there it is. Check. How about a magenta anthurium? Got it. And a red one? Too easy. Next up is bamboo. We're not going to limit ourselves to one particular type, and there's giant bamboo. Got it. Coffee? This one doesn't have any berries on it. Counts just the same. Brugmansia. Those upside down flowers are really quite eye-catching. They didn't come in yellow, but we found them in pink and in orange. Check. The Lego set features a hanging basket philodendron, like this style. Though we didn't find any like that, we found a ton of philodendrons. Check. Now we're going carnivorous. First with the sundew, and there it is, looking just as fragile here as it does everywhere else. Dainty little fella. Second, we're looking for the Nepenthes. The Nepenthes online community is a passionate one that I lovingly refer to as the Nepenthes police. And I know they're saying right now, that's not a Nepenthes, that's a saxophone. Hanging just above the sundew, we have the Nepenthes. And don't do what I just did. You're not supposed to touch the plants in here. At any rate, we got it. Now we're looking for plumeria. This is the flower from the tree they make leis out of in Hawaii. And there it is. The sets feature two different strelitzias, aka birds of paradise, both of which were orange. I didn't find the orange one, but even though it wasn't in bloom, I did find the white one. Check. This was by far the hardest one to find. My research led me to search for it in another section of the garden, but I found it in here in the Climatron on accident. A splenium fern. Check. The Rambling Brick blog post calls for a date palm tree. I'm seeing this palm from a distance without a placard, so I'm going to call it close enough. One date palm. Got it. Tropical plants are pretty much only going to be found in the Climatron, but I'm still missing several tropicals. But remember I said I had an ace in the hole? I've got a woman on the inside.
So I'm here with Tiffany. You're a production supervisor?
Correct, yes.
Production supervisor here at Missouri Botanical Garden, and she's given us the behind the scenes look. Here's one of the big bucket list ones we're looking for, the Titanarums, and we're looking at not just one, but several different ones that are generally not visible to the public.
These are those famous corpse flowers that take 7 to 10 years to bloom for the first time and then flower once every 2 to 3 years after. In bloom, they smell of rotting meat. At MOBOT, they're only on display when in bloom.
You want to walk us through here a little bit about their different names?
Some of them are named after the curator, the grower of these. Her name is Emily. Sometimes there's a little variation on her name.
Oh, okay.
There's Callie over there. Octavia. We named Octavia that because it was the 8th one to bloom.
So that one went into dormancy, died back, or what's going on with Octavia?
So there's a very large tuber that's in there. It'll come up with a faith, I think is what Emily would call it. And so we'll find out if it's going to turn into a leaf or if it's going to turn into a flower. It'll be one of the two, and then we got to give it some time.
Titanarum. Check. There are Sarracenias throughout the outdoor garden, but none looked quite so vibrant as those inside the private greenhouses. Sarracenias are a go. Fly traps are listed in various spots in the living collection, but I was only able to find them here in the staff-only greenhouse. Check.
We have a carnivorous bromeliad, so probably a Brocchinia, but I don't know exactly which one. What is it?
The same.
Brocchinia reducta.
Not one we were looking for, but a rare fun find. The Rambling Brick IDs this as ivy. I'm going to be satisfied with just about any plant hanging from a wall, and we found that in the form of a familiar sight, Spanish moss. We have this stuff hanging from every tree in Florida, but it's a novelty here in Missouri, so it's part of their private collection. So this plant is from the smaller botanical garden set, and it's never actually ID'd, but it kind of looks like an orchid, and this one is ID'd as an orchid. And MOBOT has an entire private greenhouse of orchids. Plus, they have a section dedicated to vanilla orchids. Look at the size of some of these vines. Rambling Brick IDs this as Eucalyptus pauciflora. I'm not going to hold myself to finding that specifically. Any eucalyptus will work in my book, especially because we had to use a private greenhouse to find this one. Here we have Picea glauca. We had to get into the private director's landscape to get it, so more points for us.
More of the private tour.
That's right. Glauca?
This is Picea glauca? All right, so here we have Picea glauca. Check.
This real-life version is a lot bigger than the Lego version. Clearly, Tiffany was instrumental to the success of this scavenger hunt, and you might be wondering why she was willing to help us. Botanical gardens have to get their plants from somewhere, and they should come from reputable sources. They create a paper trail that validates the authenticity of the species and genus.
Bought in 2022, Alocasia zebrina.
And as it turns out, Wellspring Gardens is one of many suppliers to contribute to Missouri Botanical Gardens collections. That includes plants like the Alocasia zebrina,
The tag doesn't say Wellspring Gardens, but we're still proud to know that they got it from us.
the Colocasia blue Hawaii, various other alocasias and colocasias, any number of banana plants, and in particular, the Basjoo banana. After we said goodbye to Tiffany, we continued our search among the public outdoor gardens. We just need to find one general rose. That one is easy. We could have covered any number of roses in the Gladney Rose Garden. Here we have hydrangeas.
Pleasantly pleased to still see blooms on these hydrangeas. It is October, so that's more than we can ask for.
Here's what these flowers would have looked like earlier in the year. Check. This is the Egyptian star cluster. I'm impressed with the LEGO designer's attention to detail to include a 5-pointed pink piece on top of a magenta piece, but not as impressed as I am with the creator of the universe's attention to this magnificent flower. Check. Now comes the astilbe. This is another one of those, like the hydrangea, that shouldn't be at its best in the fall. Here it is now. You can tell it has the same shape as the Lego plant, but this is what it would have looked like earlier this year. And before we leave the Kemper outdoor garden, we need to find the Hypericum with pink berries. I was pretty close to giving up on these, but found them at last. We're going to be looking for 3 different plants in the Japanese garden. First is the Japanese maple leaf, one of the most prominent plants from the big Lego set.
This one's on the smaller side, but we found a Japanese maple, Acer palmatum. Check. Here we have an even bigger Japanese maple, red one. Beautiful specimen.
This is the Nelumbo nucifera, also known as the sacred lotus, and here they are on the lake. And here's what they would have looked like in the summer. Last thing we're looking for in the Japanese garden is the bonsai, which is my cue to tell you about the MOBOT Japanese Festival, which is one of the largest and longest running festivals of its kind in the United States. MOBOT does feature bonsais, but only on festival days, so I'm still going to count it.
So if you thought that everything that was interesting to see was in the Climatron, you'd be dead wrong, because there's so much here inside the Shoenberg Arid house. And right off the bat, one of the plants we're looking for is right here, a jade plant. And if we follow it a little farther along here, there's an even more impressive jade plant. But wow, what an incredible indoor space. And they close it if you get here too late in the afternoon. They might close it because it gets pretty hot. You know, I'm not wearing a jacket in here.
This is a prickly pear. They are all over the place. Here's just one example. Pincushion cacti are also prominent throughout the house. Rambling Brick calls for another plant growing on a trellis. I'm going to count this climbing onion as the one because trellis looks pretty similar. Check. Fence post cactus. There it is in the form of the Mexican fence post cactus. Check. And finally, the Parodia magnifica. Here it is in a few different spots. Now to catch up on some last minute plants. Here is the Ottoman garden. The raised beds are being prepped for new plants, but it was here that we found the plum tree. And this is what it might have looked like when it was in bloom. This Lego plant that uses purple butterflies in its makeup did so for good reason because false shamrock looks just like purple butterflies. Well done, Lego. So we're still missing succulents from the two different sets and the Aztecium and torch cactus from the big set. Between the private greenhouses and the gift shop, I'm gonna say that we covered these. Well, look what they have in the gift shop. That just means we couldn't find 5 plants, including Banksia, alpine larch, rafflesia, pink lupines, and mushrooms, though I don't think fungi count as plants. That doesn't mean MOBOT doesn't have these plants, we just didn't find them. That means all in all, we found 39 of 44 plants, which I think is a commendable score. I should because as a B student all through school, 86% is better than good. It's good enough. Because not studying for those final percentage points means more time playing with Legos.
You remember what this plant is called?
Sarracenia. That's my trap. Sunbeam.
Close, sundew.
Sundew. La 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 la.
Thanks for watching, and enjoy this time-lapse footage of putting the botanical garden sets together. If you're ever in the St. Louis area, I highly recommend visiting Missouri Botanical Garden. It is, bar none, the most impressive botanical garden I've ever visited. And all of us in management at Wellspring Gardens are now card-carrying members. I also highly recommend all the Lego sets featured. The Lego Friends Botanical Garden set is now discontinued, but you can find it on eBay. I'll put links in the description for all 3 sets. And finally, a big shout out to Tiffany at MOBOT for showing us the insider's view of the garden. Your contribution easily took this from a B video to an A video.